Graph the function and its parent function. Describe the transformation. So the parent function here is f of x equals x. So let's graph both of these and then we'll talk about transformations. So it's f of x equals negative of 1/2, or 1 divided by 2 in parentheses, and then x plus 3. And then the parent function is simply y equals x. So we'll graph and compare. There's the given function in blue and the parent function in red. Okay, now notice that the red parent function has a positive rate of change and the blue function has a negative rate of change. So that implies there's a vertical reflection going on. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually graph a third function on here, y equals negative x, and that'll help analyze the other transformations. Okay, so to get from the parent function, which is red, to this reflective function, which is the black one, it's a vertical reflection. But now, how do you get from the black to the blue? What types of transformations there? Well, it looks like the blue has a rate of change that is not as steep as the black. And if I go to the tables, I can compare that a little bit better. So second table. And I'm comparing the blue with the black here, or the y1 with the y3. Notice for the blue, the rate of change is negative 1/2, or negative 0.5, because you're decreasing by 0.5 each time. And for the black, you're decreasing by 1. Okay, so that means there's a vertical shrink to get from the black to the blue, and that shrink is by a factor of 1/2. Okay, now let's go back to the graph here. So we have a vertical reflection, and we have a shrink by 1/2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going back to y equals, and I'm going to change this black one. I'm going to change it from negative x to negative 1/2 x. So I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see what other transformations are applied after the vertical reflection and the vertical shrink by 1/2. Okay, so there's the given function, there's the parent function, and there's our black function, which is kind of like the in-between. Okay, now what transformation is applied here to go from the black to the blue? Now it looks like a transformation of 1, 2, 3 up. So that's the final transformation. So we have a vertical reflection and a vertical shrink by a factor of 1/2, and we have a vertical translation three up. Okay, so those are all three transformations that will be applied to the parent function to create the given function of f of x equals negative 1/2 x plus 3.